Hi, everybody. Whoa, that was amazing. We're going to start this. Well, first of all, we're doing this in English, and we're going to start off with the presentation or trailer of our game. So, here we go. ¿Cómo será esto? Good. Okay, so that is our game trailer. Hi, everybody, and good afternoon. First of all, we'd like to say that we're honored to be here in Google Campus doing this presentation. It's amazing that we're having this opportunity. Second of all, my name is Daniel Mundi, and I am a game designer in Moon Factory Studios, where we're actually a pretty big family. Obviously, compared to the epic and ginormous King, we're not even an amoeba, but still, compared to other indie studios here in Spain, we're moderately big. So, me and my teammate Ruben, who was not only the backbone in Moon Factory Studios, but also the lead programmer, we're going to be talking about the game that you just saw in the video. I'm going to be talking about what the game is about and some game design decisions that we made during its development. I'm sorry if it's very loud, I'm not used to. Is it good here? Nice? Bad? Good? Okay, good. So, as I was saying, I'm going to talk about some decisions that were made in terms of game design, and then Ruben's going to be talking about all the cool programming stuff. Actually, before we get on with the presentation, I'd like to point out that our game was born in an academic environment as the final project of 3 different master degrees in the Utah University. Utah, not as in Utah in the States. Utah University is actually here in Madrid, in Las Rozas. So if any of you wants to check it out, that would be awesome. And now that this introduction has been cleared and as promised, I'm going to start on with the presentation. So, come on. Okay. First things first, what is Rollin Bob and the Evil Factory about? Our game is a 2D platformer where you guide and protect a little robot called Bob by drawing energy traces that he will use as paths. Story of our game is set in this robot world, so there are no humans there, and robots start to get kidnapped into an evil factory. And actually what's happening inside the factory, they're being destroyed and rebuilded as war drones. So our main character, Bob, who also happens to be a robot, wants to get inside the evil factory and save his friends from being destroyed. At the beginning, I said you guide Bob by drawing energy traces. So, hopefully some of you will have drawn a beautiful image of how that works in your mind. But just in case, I'm going to show you how it actually works with a video. So there we go. Nice. So, first thing which is important to notice here, Bob is a non-stopping robot. That means that he's always moving forward automatically. He's like this cartoon character, Mr. Magoo, who's a blind guy who's always moving forward, okay? So it's kind of that, so it's pretty useful to be able to guide him. And some of you might wonder, how do we do this? Well, it's really simple. The only thing you need to do is draw an energy trace by dragging your finger on your mobile phone or tablet. Then Bob will hop on top of the energy trace, follow it, and voila, he will be wherever you want him to be. This is what we now call our drawing mechanic, and it was one of the first game design decisions and most important game design decisions that we had to make during the development of our game. And when we were thinking about the idea of our game, there were 3 conditions that our core game mechanic had to accomplish. First of all, it had to be innovative. And we haven't seen any video games on Android where you guide your main character in a 2D platformer game by drawing traces. So we can check that one out. We believe we have an innovative game mechanic on Android. The second condition was it had to be intuitive. So the way the player actually reacts to the game, it had to be easy and simple. Our drawing mechanic, no surprises here, is based on drawing. So, we don't believe, actually everybody knows how to draw. So we believe that everybody, before even playing our game, is actually gonna know how to interact with it. The second thing, you don't need to learn any virtual part controls or do any crazy tapping on the screen of your phone. So it's very simple. So we can check that one out too. Our game mechanic is intuitive. The third thing, our game mechanic had to be elegant. And I know elegance can be easily related to an ad of El Corte Inglés, but also elegance is really important in game design, okay? Games that are not elegant are those where you have a big bunch of actions and rules and don't combine very well together. Whilst games that are elegant have small amount of rules or even one single rule from which other resultant actions emerge. So I'm going to explain how that actually works within our game. By drawing, you can guide Bob, but you can also, come on, okay. You can also change Bob's direction by drawing an energy wall at his front. So he will bounce off and change the course of his direction. You can also block traps. You can stop Bob by drawing an energy trace at his front and another one at his back. And you can block and imprison enemies. You can also erase your energy traces by tapping on top of them. So there we go. We have an elegant game mechanic. Up till now, I've been talking about how to guide Bob and all the cool stuff that you can do by drawing. But what is the player actually going to be doing on each of the levels? So we're talking about gameplay. I'm going to show you another wonderful video. There we go. Come on, video. No. Programmer? Can you do something, programmer? Please? Programmer can solve it. It's impossible to solve, okay? Come on. Well, we're having a technical problem here. 1 second. Pon el otro video. This video is wonderful. It's okay. So, on each of the levels, the player is going to be guiding his main character from the starting point to the exit of the level, while avoiding enemies and traps and trying to collect as much metallic nuts and saving one of Bob's robot friends. So 3 main things here. You guide Bob, you avoid enemies and traps, and you try to collect all of the goodies in the level. Okay, so let's continue. Now that we're talking about levels, other than the drawing mechanic, we had other wonderful and miraculous decisions that we made. Basically, as designers, we wanted to design our levels in the tile map editor, which is the image at the top, okay? So basically, it's a 2D sprite editor with a tile-based structure. It's actually, you can't see it here, but it's like kind of grid-like, okay? So it's kind of Lego. You put in the pieces together and miraculously a level appears. The cool stuff was, we wanted our programmers to create a black magic tool that would transform the tile map editor, their levels, directly into Unreal Engine, okay? Our game was made in Unreal Engine and it actually looks beautiful. So up to that point, everything was okay. But we forgot about something really important in games, which is art, okay? So at the beginning, artists, they were really happy with this decision, but when they started making the levels, they didn't feel right. They didn't feel alive. They felt like Lego. Everything was very squared, and it felt wrong, okay? So, very bad decision here using the tile map editor, because we wasted the time of our programmers who had to build this black magic tool, and also the time of artists that had to redo most of the art in the game, okay? Even though we made this tragic decision, we were able to pull off two magnificent game worlds, which I'm gonna talk about right now with another video. Hopefully. Okay. So this is the first game world, the Foundry. Hopefully it will work. Come on. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. That is rude. That is bad. Programmer again, please. Sorry. I don't know any good jokes, so I'm sorry, I wish I would. Aquí va un español, un francés. No, sorry. Come on, programmer. Okay. Could you... ¿Puedes cargar el otro? Carga el otro. Carga el otro mientras y este ya... It worked. We promised it did work, but some technical issues. They kind of happened. It didn't happen to King. Well, they didn't have a video, so... Okay. Well, doesn't matter. The Foundry, our game world, the Foundry, it's basically where the good robots are being destroyed and melted down into molten steel that will be later used to build the bad robots. There we have it. Awesome. It's not working. It is working. Bad programmer, you should have, come on. So, basically here, as I said, we have molten steel, rusty materials, we have big buckets dripping the molten steel, so things that you would actually find on a real foundry. The foundry, we can stop the video now, thanks. Okay. I'm not buying the lottery today, no way. I'm not buying the lottery. Trying to dance now, come on. We're really sorry about this. Well, okay, doesn't matter. I'll continue with this wonderful screensaver. Basically, the second game world is called the assembly line, and it's where the good robots are being assembled, okay? Oh, maybe we have it. Come on. Well, basically... no. Yes, the enemies then. So we're not going to be talking about the assembly line yet, because I forgot the enemies, which are really cool. We have these traps, which are the flamethrowers. We also have chainsaws, the molten steel I talked about, and our first static war drone. These are enemies that are unique to the Foundry. And now, hopefully, we can see the second game world. Can we actually? But videos don't work. Okay. Well, as you can see here, the assembly line has really good, metal, really good materials. We have electrical devices. We also have conveyor belts transporting the newly built robots. And we have some robotic arms actually building up these newly built robots. The assembly line has its own and unique enemies. We have our first two dynamic enemies, the ground dynamic enemy, the dynamic flying enemy, and both dynamic and static lasers, and last but not least, our Tesla traps. Okay, so when we finished our first game world, that is called the Foundry, I'm sorry we couldn't actually show it with a video, we thought we had a great game because we had great enemies and we had a great main game mechanic. But people started to point out, do you think that this drawing mechanic is going to be, fun during 3 or more levels? So we thought about it, and the answer is no. Basically, awesome things tend to lose their awesomeness on the long run. That is a real rule, okay? So what we did here in our second game world, we added some new goodies, okay? Some gameplay elements. The first of them is the spring. It's a 2D classic. Basically, every time Bob collides with the spring, he gets launched in a certain direction at a very high speed. We can play some of them together, and it's a bouncing fiesta. Bob starts bouncing everywhere. Our second gameplay element is the energy walls. What they do is they block certain parts of the levels, enabling us to have more puzzle-like situations. And last but not least, our third gameplay element are the pipes. Again, a 2D classic. We have them in Super Mario. What they do is they transport your main character from one part of the level to another part of the level. And while Bob is inside the pipe, actually the player can take a rest because there are no dangers there. So awesome. Great. Oh, forgot. Yes, this time it worked and it shouldn't have because I have to say something before. My bad. Okay, so we made a good decision by adding the new gameplay elements. But sometimes, when you make a good decision, even better things come, okay? I don't know if some of you know this expression in cinema, and it's the magic in cinema. When you're filming a scene, your actors are good, camera is good, lighting is top-notch, script is good, and the scene doesn't end up being good. It ends up being magical. It's spectacular, okay? And that thing also happens in video games. I'm not saying what we have is actually magic, but it ended up being pretty good. Basically, when we combined all of the enemies and gameplay elements into setups inside the levels, we found out they had a big replay value. So they could be solved in more than one way. And this is really, really important because it gives players a different experience every time they play our levels. So I'm going to show you an example here. It's a really simple setup. We have a pipe, a flying dynamic enemy, and a spring. And this really simple situation can be solved in 4 unique ways. So let's see this. Hopefully it will work. It does. First way, you block Bob, checking the enemy. You save him. Okay, he's saved. Second way, hey, why not guide Bob straight into the spring? Oh my God, I'm gonna die. And coast is clear, Bob is saved. Third way, maybe if we block the enemy, things will be easier. It actually is, and my favorite, the Carpe Diem Jolo way. You guide Bob straight into the pipe, and he gets saved, okay? Bravery always pays off. Great. So, yes. Now I finished my part, and I'm passing the torch to Epic Ruben. Here you go.
Thank you very much, Danny. I am Ruben Llamuza, lead programmer in Moon Factory Studio, and I'm going to talk about the programming of the game. Okay, please. The university requirements established for the game are 3. Android was developed by Android. Android is a very restrictive platform. Internal, screen, memory, CPU, GPU, you say. All is restricted in Android. Unreal Engine 4 is a strong and powerful engine, but also is complex and very hard to learn engine. And C++, or here, no C++, is a challenging and efficient programming language. That was climbing the Everest, this project. We have an additional handicap. How do we manage a complex team? We have 5 designers, 6 artists, and 4 programmers. So we have 3 very different visions. The visual vision for the artist, the creative vision for the designer, and the analytic vision from the programmers. Okay, what did we learn? Programming Rollin Bob. We learn 3 lessons. Face the problem and never surrender, collaborate and evolve, and that we say cube performance. That is performance, performance, performance. Okay. The first lesson was face the problem and never surrender. The best example was the draw mechanic. We need to capture the player touch, compare it in a continuous path, and generate a visible path. After working hard, we got a good solution, but an unexpected problem showed up, the precisions. We detected that players have to have a superhuman precision and a huge time control for enjoy the game. And if it's not, it could frustrated. Okay? We tried a lot of solutions for solve that, and including we tried a balance time like matrix. That is, when the player is drawing, the time went slower, but didn't work. And our salvation was an artificial intelligence for the path. The main issue of the artificial intelligence was helping the player to draw without them noticing. To do that, we analyzed the most frustrating cases, and we tried to solve them without the least impact possible. For example, sometimes the player tried to block Bob from a show, but he drew the path inside the show, and of course, that Bob died. In other case, the player tried to get to a platform, but if he stopped to draw the path before reaching the platform, he leaves an empty space, and of course, Bob fall off. Okay. Perdón. Okay. I need to say you that all the artificial intelligence works in real time. That is, it works while the player is drawing. Okay. The second lesson was listen to the other department, and if you got a good idea, evolve it. Okay. To illustrate this case, we can see Rollin Bob scripting system. The designers asked to the programming team to implement a new functions. Bob mustn't appear directly at the start of the level, but Bob must come out from a door and turn left. And for the exit of the level, the same. Okay? We have three options. We can to say no to the designer, it's not possible, backslash K. We can implement the function directly at the level, or we can make a scripting system. We decided to listen to our colleagues, of course, and we created a sample, a flexible scripting system. And voila, the C++ magic. Some solution emerged from this scripting system. First, the tutorial problem was solved, and the artist team could add life and movement to the level environment. And the last but not least lesson was our friends cube performance. Performance. The great mistake as programmers made was starting to be worried about performance just at the end of the level. There are some performance problems that only can be detected when you include the realize in your levels. Third, when you have your first and simple levels, fill them with as much entities as you can. You will detect many future problems. And last, remember, sometimes you don't anything options, then remove some art, some programming code, some design functions. It's all. Thank you very much. And continues Danny.
Thank you, Ruben. So, we were going to talk about our monetization strategy, but after hearing what King said, I think we can, cut it off a little bit. If any of you has any questions, we'll be glad to answer them. But let's talk about the future, which is much more optimistic. So, We were nominated for the Fun and Serious. We actually made it to the finals, okay? And now we have also been nominated to the PlayStation Awards, okay? And again, we made it to the finals. So depending on if we win or not, which we will know on December 16th, we will either launch our game on PlayStation 4 or on Android, okay? So that's basically our situation right now. In both cases, we're looking for investment to continue with our game, making it bigger, better. We actually added a boss for the PS4 version, and it's really awesome. So, again, if somebody wants to help us with some nice investment, that would be awesome. We have finished our presentation. I'm really sorry for all the tech problems and whatever. If any of you wants to make any questions, that would be really awesome. Thank you very much.
Bueno, los problemas técnicos han sido mi culpa, ¿eh?
It can be in Spanish. O sea, puede ser en español las preguntas, perdón. Tengo el cerebro que no... Ah, y lo siento también por el micrófono, que es la primera vez que lo hago con esto y súper complicado. Yo no sé cómo Bustamante lo hace, de verdad, es brutal. Es brutal. Ah, sí, perdón.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, maybe I didn't understand it correctly, but at the beginning of the presentation you were talking about the tool to design the levels. The initial tool you designed, which was kind of Lego thing, this was not exactly, this was like too restrictive for artists, so at the end you decided to do something else. Which was this something else?
Yes, I forgot to tell what we actually did, which was the solution. That's the most important thing. What we actually ended up doing was building the levels by hand directly on Unreal. So we didn't use the tile map editor anymore. Well, we actually used it, but only to make the layouts of the levels. But then once we had the layouts, we built them by hand directly on Unreal. So that's what we did. Unreal is great, I have to say. Like Victoria's Secret of the engines. Any more questions?
Hey, I have a question. I don't know if you actually said this, but what is the language you use for the scripting?
The language we use. Programmer?
We use the blueprint, the old blueprint, but we adapt the blueprint for doing by designer, by artists. It's a simple use of the blueprints. The base is the blueprint, but we build and sample construction to be used by artists and designers.
Blueprints are horrible. I don't like blueprints. It's my opinion, sorry.
Si quieres en español. A mí
Sí,
me haría
sí.
un favor.
Yo voy a preguntar en español, no te preocupes. La pregunta que tenía es, ¿cuándo decides que un puzzle lo vas a resolver de varias maneras distintas y cuánto trabajo vas a ahorrar o vas a, no quiero decir tirar, porque suena un poco feo, pero dices, si este puzzle me va a representar una plataforma, como has mostrado, y un enemigo, y lo puedo resolver con una sola línea, quizás ese trabajo a lo mejor me esté repercutiendo en que lo puedo presentar, o sea, lo puedo emplear ese tiempo en otra cosa. Como el diseño de ahí lo enfocas a aprovechar bien el tiempo.
Si quieres decir que igual la situación se puede resolver, quizás puede haber un exploit, ¿no? Que de una situación que tú piensas que se va a resolver de una manera con una dificultad 3, alguien consiga resolverla con una dificultad 1, y entonces la curva de dificultad cambia y entonces se frustra el jugador porque ya no es challenging, ¿no? Un poco esto de que, no sé si es por ahí por donde estoy tirando bien. Vale, perdón.
Por ejemplo, o sea, me refiero a la hora de producir el juego.
Sí.
Vale, tú te presentas el puzzle y dices, me conviene presentarle al jugador 3 opciones para resolver el puzzle o emplear ese tiempo en hacer otros puzzles. Si solo tengo una opción, todo lo que haga en ese puzzle me está repercutiendo en el tiempo que estoy empleando en él. Pero si tengo 3 opciones que le presento al jugador, normalmente cogerá la más fácil y ese tiempo que yo he dedicado en hacer el puzzle lo podría haber empleado en hacer otro.
Vale. Nosotros tampoco es que diseñásemos, como he contado, es un poco la magia del cine, ¿vale? No diseñamos las situaciones para que sean así. muchas veces cuando tú tienes, pues eso, elementos, ¿vale? Y tipos de enemigos sencillos, pero que combinan muy bien, se genera una cosa que se llama emergencia, que seguramente lo conoceréis todos aquí, ¿vale? Y entonces eso nace un poco de por sí, no es que tú lo crees de una forma. De todas formas, en móviles hoy en día la rejugabilidad es un must, ¿vale? Porque nosotros tenemos un sistema aquí que de monetización no hemos hablado mucho, pero para conseguir determinada puntuación, estrellas o demás, muchas veces tienes que rejugar a los niveles para conseguir todas las estrellas y tal. Si el nivel siempre te lo pasas de la misma forma, cuando vayas a volver a por las estrellas te va a aburrir un montón. Porque dices, ya me lo he pasado una vez y ya me lo sé de memoria. En cambio, cuando tienes esa opción de que todo es muy dinámico y muy orgánico y te lo puedes pasar de varias formas, te lo vuelves a pasar, ¿sabes? Con gusto, por decirlo de alguna forma. Pero la decisión un poco de crear los niveles de que se puedan resolver de una forma, o sea, de muchas formas, es un poco circunstancial, por decirlo. O sea, la emergencia nace casi de, no voy a decir de chiripa, porque obviamente tiene una intención muchas veces, pero otras veces nace. Como, vamos,
Bueno, también hay que tener en cuenta que lo que se hace básicamente es dibujar, y no todo el mundo dibuja igual. Hay gente que dibuja de una manera y gente que dibuja de otra. Una de las cosas buenas que tiene el juego es que al dibujar tú como tú quieras, pues te permite solucionar. Es cierto que a lo mejor a los diseñadores les restringe un poco a la hora de crear los niveles, pero si hacen los niveles más o menos abiertos, la propia emergencia que dice es un plus al juego. Preferimos que los niveles sean a lo mejor menos, digamos, dedicados, un poco más abiertos, pero nos permite que lo que es el juego sea mucho más abierto al gran público, que no sea simplemente para alguien, ¿vale?
Sí, luego a la hora de equilibrar, claro, es más putada, perdóname por la expresión. Porque claro, cuanto más libertad hay, pues más puede coger el jugador y decir, uy, va, me hago un dibujito aquí súper chulo y me salgo. Entonces, en eso sí, en la parte de testeo le hemos pasado un pelín que dice, jo, el tío este que me dibuja aquí algo y se sale por la tangente. Entonces sí que hasta cierto punto es complicado también.
Hola. Nada, yo solo quería daros la enhorabuena por el juego.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Y bueno, y lo único, la decisión de que fuera solo para Android es por algo, porque yo, por ejemplo, a lo mejor me interesa bajármelo, pero como yo uso
básicamente, las 3 decisiones que hemos visto al principio en programación fueron dadas por la universidad. Fueron las 3 únicas decisiones las cuales la universidad puso al principio del proyecto, ¿vale? Que debía ser para Android, en Unreal y con C++. A partir de ahí nosotros hemos tenido total libertad tanto para el concepto de juego como para lo que es el desarrollo, pero sí es verdad que esos 3 ya vinieron establecidos, ¿vale? Ahora mismo se está trabajando en adaptar el juego para Play. De hecho, ya hemos presentado la demo y estamos a espera de que el día 16 tengamos el resultado. Y el hecho de que no esté todavía para Android es precisamente que estamos esperando a eso, ¿vale? El juego en Android se terminado cuando acabamos el máster.
¿Alguna pregunta? ¿Ha costado mucho adaptarlo a Play?
Pues, a ver, Play lo que mola es que obviamente en cuanto a limitaciones de memoria, claro, ¿cuál es la putada un poco? Unreal es un Ferrari, ¿vale? Y los móviles son pues un circuito para karts, entonces es una locura, porque te estás pegando leches constantemente. Entonces, claro, cuando ya tienes un Ferrari y tienes Play 4, que es pues no sé de Fórmula 1, ¿vale? Pero un circuito de estos de la leche, pues todo mola mucho, porque no te tienes que limitar tanto. Entonces, en ese sentido, mola.
Bueno, básicamente también lo que hemos hecho para... Perdona, Dani, que te interrumpa.
Por favor.
Para ir a la pregunta que has hecho, lo que hemos hecho para Play han sido 3 cosas, básicamente. Primero, mejorar el arte. Para Android, por la plataforma, tienes que restringir mucho el arte y aquí los artistas se han podido explayar directamente con el arte que han desarrollado. Hemos cambiado el control del juego, que antes era táctil y ahora se hace con el mando. Y la tercera opción que hemos hecho ha sido cambiar el interfaz inicial de juego, que al ser para móvil pues era simplemente una pantalla, y ahora es un nivel dentro del juego por el que el jugador se mueve para seleccionar los niveles. Básicamente esas han sido las 3 cosas que hemos hecho durante este mes y pico para presentar la demo a PlayStation.
Efectivamente, esa era la duda, que o sea, hasta donde tengo entendido, la Play no es una pantalla táctil. Y bueno, ya que estoy, pues os pregunto un poco sobre tiempos. ¿Cuánto habéis tardado desde la idea, el desarrollo?
Vamos a ver, ha sido un poco epicness, como le gusta decir aquí a Dani. Vamos a ver, el tiempo de desarrollo en la UTAD va desde febrero hasta octubre. Es decir, son 8 meses supuestamente de desarrollo. Empiezas con la idea, después te marcas una preproducción para sacar un prototipo, que lo hicimos en Unity. Ahí después, lo que es, entras en producción con sprints semanales haciendo entregas, ¿vale? Pero nosotros tuvimos un hándicap en el caso de nuestro proyecto, porque la primera idea que presentamos no terminamos de definirla bien y después de prácticamente un mes de trabajo tuvimos que rápidamente cambiar la idea, quitamos esa idea de en medio y surgió Rollin Bob. Con lo cual, en realidad, el desarrollo ha sido 6 meses y medio, 7. Y después, la adaptación a PlayStation, pues un mes. Terminamos a mitad de octubre y ahora en diciembre acabamos de presentar la demo. Hemos tardado más o menos un mes en hacer la adaptación a PlayStation. Bueno, PlayStation en realidad es a PC porque la demo todavía no teníamos el kit de desarrollo. ¿Vale?
Hay una cosa que me gustaría recalcar, que también lo han dicho los de King, y es muy importante y tú lo has recalcado de una forma, y es que hasta que no tienes el concepto claro, no deberías ponerte a desarrollar a machete, ¿vale? Se lo digo porque yo he trabajado en otras cosas, he hecho mis pinitos por ahí, y te encuentras peña que igual tiene un arte casi ya fase alfa, beta casi, y todavía no tiene juego, ¿sabes? Entonces sí que es muy importante eso. Dale a tu concepto, dale, y si no te gusta, te lo zumbas, otra vez la expresión horrible, pero da igual, y empiezas con otro. Pero tienes que pegarte con el concepto realmente antes de empezar. Eso es súper importante. Porque nosotros perdimos tiempo, entre comillas, al cargarnos uno, pero seguramente si hubiéramos seguido con él, luego más tarde nos hubiéramos dado cuenta de que estaba mal y la cagada hubiera sido mayor. Entonces eso sí que es importante. Y ya está.
Bueno, pues si no hay más preguntas, un aplauso para el equipo de Rollin Bob.
Muchas gracias.
Bueno, parte del equipo. Faltan miembros, ¿no? Sois más gente aparte. Ya lo habéis dicho.
Bueno,
están por aquí.
sí, tenemos aquí un poco nuestra familia por ahí.
Genial. Pues nada, nos tomamos unas cervezas, las que queden y hayan dejado aquellos de allí. Y recordad que salimos por aquí, no por ahí arriba. Dejarlo todo recogidito y, en fin, muchas gracias por venir.